And welcome back, my fellow Lost Souls, to Let's Play Silent Hill 3. Last time, we defeated some sexual imagery, and this time we're hoping to make our way out of the mall and make it home. Still feeling a little uneasy, though. This place just seems completely cleared out. Like, not even like it's just closed down, everybody's gone home. Like, just spontaneously, everybody's abandoned it. Whatever. Let's just get home. Hopefully things are normal there.
Heather,
It's you.
what just happened?
You must be one of them.
What did I do? And what do you mean by one of them?
You're in on this with that Claudia, aren't you?
Claudia? What about her? She asked me to find you, that's all.
So you are one of them.
Claudia did all that? Look, I was just hired to find you. I'm not on anybody's side. I don't know anything about this. Why don't you start by telling me what happened here? And that monster, what the hell was that?
I don't know any more than you do. All I know is that things are getting really screwy around here, and I got a weird feeling it's got something to do with me. Maybe you're just an innocent bystander, but I can't feel sorry for you because you dragged me into this. If you hadn't found me...
What are you talking about? What's so special about you anyway?
If I knew that, I wouldn't be so confused, would I? But I know there's something. Something I've been running from and forgot for a long time. How did I remember that?
What's wrong?
Nothing.
Where are you going?
I'm taking the subway home.
What should I do?
Hell if I know.
Looks like Heather and Douglas have not really gotten off on the right foot. Looks like we can't expect them to be friends anytime soon. Also, before we get too deep into this, growing strong and healthy. Minmo! Minmo has kind of become a meme that has grown beyond Silent Hill 3. Lots of people love this stupid cat food ad, and you kind of see a lot of posts of it out of context. Anyway, we're heading into the subway now, and I'm not sure how common this opinion is, how many people feel the same way about this, but I absolutely love the subway. It's one of my favorite areas in this game, and one of my favorite areas in the series as a whole. Just like, you just escaped from the other world, and you're going into a place that's, seems normal. Everything seems like it's back to normal, but, you just start going forward a bit. You start to realize, everything's got that, like, pitch darkness in the distance. There's no people around. And then as you just go further and further, you start hearing the noises, and you realize you're not out of the woods yet. And I just love the sense of dread that creates. One of the things that I don't like about Silent Hill 2, as far as the presentation of the town goes, is that there's no sort of discomforting normalcy to the game. Everything in Silent Hill 2 is very dilapidated, if not outright run down, especially when you start to get into the Nightmare World segments. So I like that Silent Hill 1 and especially Silent Hill 3 have these moments where you're in areas that, feel like they look normal on the surface, but, it's like almost like a picture where the area has been vacated, and suddenly that's just the reality. It's like it's completely abandoned, even though it looks like people were here. In Silent Hill 2, everything looked like it had been abandoned for a long time, at least a few years. In Silent Hill 1 and 3, a lot of the areas look like they were abandoned suddenly, which I think works very well with how most people outside of Silent Hill just perceive it as a normal resort town. With my rambling out of the way, let's get into some other points of interest. First off, on this ticket stand over here is a newspaper. Very easy to miss, but this is part of a little mini event you can see in the subway that's completely optional. There's a newspaper left on top of the ticket machine. Fatal accident at Hazel Street. At about 11 p.m. on the 4th, a man waiting on the platform at the Hazel Street station fell onto the tracks and was decapitated by the arriving St. Renata College-bound train. The victim died instantly. While police have not determined whether the death was an accident or suicide, witnesses reported that the victim did not look inebriated and seemed to jump off the platform deliberately. The victim's identity is still unknown. He is approximately 40 years old, 5 feet 10 inches tall, and was wearing a black jacket. This newspaper is 4 months old. What's it doing here now? Excellent question, Heather. Now, the next thing I want to get into with the subway, let's just look at the railway map here. There's a subway map here. But even without looking at this, I still know my way home. I just need to go get onto the Bergen Street train at platform 3. And that gets right into the point I wanted to get to. This whole area is an extended reference to the movie Jacob's Ladder, which is generally recognized as being one of the big inspirations for the Silent Hill series. That movie, when the plot kicks off, it begins with Jacob arriving at a subway station, and the street that he was trying to get to was the station on Bergen Street. There's also a lot of aesthetics borrowed from the looks of the New York subway system, which I've written on a couple times, so a lot of these signs look very familiar to me. They probably used reference pictures to create them, and some of the areas look incredibly similar to the subway area from the movie. Now, very easy to miss here is that there is in fact a map you can grab for the subway. So we'll just take that. For the longest time, I thought this area didn't have a map at all, because I just looked at that railway map, and Heather made that comment about not needing a map, and I just thought, oh, well, that's part of the challenge here. We don't get a map, and the game actually does use that kind of challenge later, so I'm not completely off base with that. So, Now, the way we want to go is we want to head this way, but there is a couple of extra things we can do. Now, the subway is actually a fairly... Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. The subway is actually a fairly short area. You can get through this in a matter of, like, I want to say, like, 5 minutes, honestly, if you just go to the places you need to. But, like I said, there's a couple extra things that you don't have to see, but, you know, good for some extra spooks and scares. So, let me see here. I'm just trying to get my bearings, and I've so frequently just gone the way we need to go. Okay, so, first off, got another save point here. Sadly, Heather does not have any comment on this one. I do like to keep checking these, because occasionally Heather does get new comments on them. But this section of the subway that we're in currently, this is more or less a complete dead end. You do not have to come this way. The only reason you'd want to come here is to just see a optional cutscene, and there is also a memo to collect if you are collecting all the memos, if you feel like filling out that menu. This game generally has less memos than the other games in the series. I read this a long time ago. It's a nothing little occult magazine. Seemed like a bunch of crap to me. It's not so bad, though, if you just read it for fun, though. The souls of those who died suddenly by suicide or accident don't realize they're dead. Sometimes they stay put and haunt that particular place. These spirits have lost their human senses and memories and can only keep replaying the pain and sadness of the moment they died. The pain can get so bad that they turn to humans for salvation, or they begrudge humans for their lives. At such times, they can possess humans. Places known as famous suicide spots or high accident areas are often to blame. You should be careful when approaching such locations, especially on the day or at the time the death occurred. That is, if you don't want it to happen to you, too. That seems like someone desperately reaching for an explanation about why someone might kill themselves. But reading that, I don't know if... there's a couple of triggers for the cutscene that we're about to see. I don't know if you have to just read the newspaper, that book, or both. But if you have... as I was saying, if you have, you get that cutscene there where a vengeful spirit pushes you onto the tracks. It's not all bad, though. You get a first aid kit here. Actually, it's been so long since I came here, I didn't even realize that was there. I got a little excited when I saw it. Anyways, that is completely optional. You don't have to see it all. If you wanted to come this way at all, it would just be to get the healing item, which can definitely be in short supply in extreme mode, so it's not the worst idea in the world, but that's just one I wanted to check out here. Also to note that, much like in Jacob's Ladder, you can look both ways, see that no subway trains are coming. As soon as you jump onto the rails, one starts heading your way. Of course, of course. Which we will be getting into another reference to the movie, well, actually a couple of references coming up very shortly. Like I said, that area was completely optional, we didn't have to go there at all. Now here... Yes, the phone can ring. When I was doing my practice runs, I actually did not know that these phones could ring, and I ran into one, and it rang on me. It actually kind of made me jump a little because I wasn't expecting it. It's also a good opportunity to mention something that I had failed to mention somehow up to this point, because it hasn't really happened, is that much like in Silent Hill 2 hard mode, and Silent Hill 1 in general, if you hit the walls at full tilt after running for a bit, you will stumble into the wall, lose all momentum, and you can't act until Heather recovers from the stumble. Now, heading to this way, how convenient. The chains holding the doors together are secured with a bolt and nut. The nut is screwed on tight. I can't turn it with my hands. This is, yet again, a reference to Jacob's Ladder. When trying to leave the Bergen Street station, Jacob finds that one of the gates is chained shut. Well, actually, both of the gates leading out are chained shut, and he can't do anything. Now, I'm going to turn the light off here, because heading into this area, we're finally going to have enemies, which, honestly, when you're playing this for the first time, it's almost kind of a relief at this point, because it's just been so quiet, aside from noises in the distance, that it's just kind of nice to have something, even if it's a monster trying to kill you. Now, it's just split heads down there, so we can easily avoid them just by turning the light off and then maneuvering around. Now, this way is a dead end, but there's a health drink for us, and also a individual who's having a far worse day than Heather is at the moment. The path is blocked with trash. Can't go through here. Someone sleeping here? All this red stuff around here is blood. This guy's not sleeping. Why am I not the least bit surprised? Oh, geez, Heather's already... Oh. Dead body. Can't really do anything for the poor guy. I think I canceled the last line there, sorry. Anybody who wants to see that, just pause and look at it. But yeah, Heather is already getting desensitized, although, given the night she's had, I suppose she has to develop thick skin pretty quickly. She ain't Manny Pardo, she wasn't born with that. Anyways, this is where we need to go. Heading into here, on this table, there's a nutcracker. Very nice. This should help us get that chain unfastened, so let's head back to there. Actually, this is the longest I've gone without the split heads aggroing on me, so pretty lucky stuff there, pretty lucky stuff. Now that we've got that, we can get into the next area of interest. And we actually get a very, very important and useful weapon coming up, so look forward to that. Get excited within the next minute. So let's just use our nutcracker here, crack this thing open. There we go. Heather had much better luck than Jacob Singer did. Alright, getting on to the next area. We will come across what seems like a completely derailed train. Certainly hasn't seen any activity in a while, but hey, did you see that through the window? Looks like there's a present in here. And, hey, nice. It's a gift wrap box. Could it be a birthday present? No, I guess not. Nobody I know would give me something this gross. But I'll take it anyway. It should come in handy against the monsters. Probably not, but I feel like this might be a reference to Terminator 2, although that was a rose box that Arnie had the shotgun in rather than this. But yes, we get the shotgun. Much more like the shotgun from Silent Hill 2. This is a nice close quarters weapon. The spread is actually quite a bit wider than the one in Silent Hill 2, so if you aren't at point blank, often the shots can do considerably less damage, whereas the shotgun in Silent Hill 2 was still pretty decent at mid-range. But it's a very important weapon. However, you get incredibly limited ammo for it throughout the game. In fact, we're probably only going to get just enough to use it on all the bosses we want to, and the only time I'm going to be using it on regular enemies is actually coming up very shortly. Now, it's not these guys. We got a new enemy here. These blobby things on the floor, these are insane cancers, and you want to avoid these guys at all costs. Not because they're dangerous, they're actually kind of unthreatening in combat, but because they are ridiculously resilient and take forever to kill. Like, my god, it just takes so much effort to kill these things. They can take upwards of like 30 shotgun blasts or something on extreme mode. It's absolutely ridiculous. Fortunately, they are usually just lying comatose on the ground, and you can easily maneuver around them. And there's never a situation where I feel like you have to fight one. You can always just go past them. Anyways, we come across a couple stairwells here. This is the one we want to go down. The one to the right. We do need to go that way eventually, but right now it just leads us to some split heads. Speaking of split heads, you probably hear their growling, but they're nowhere to be seen. Curious. Now, heading down to the end of this platform, there's a door marked in red there, and much like Jacob in his ill-advised attempt to get out of the subway did, we have to jump down onto the tracks now. Now this is going to seem like a moment of schmuckbait, but... Okay, immediately, turn around, and that technique there is called counterblasting. You guard, and then immediately fire to cancel the guard. And if you do that against a split head's lunge with the right timing, that will kill them instantly. A very important technique to know for getting a 10-star ranking, particularly in the PS2 version, where a certain trick that a lot of people use for 10 stars is not available, so it's handy to know how to properly kill things. But yeah, it's much easier to just kill that split head with a counterblast than it is to try and dodge him. Especially because, as you saw, there were two more right behind him, so I could take him out. You actually have quite a bit of time before the train arrives while you're on the track, so don't worry too much about that. You can actually mess around quite a bit before you get run over. And yes, you will be run over eventually if you don't get off. Now, like I was saying, that looked like it was schmuck bait because the door would not open, but that train will not appear until you investigate that door, so yeah, you do have to do that kind of silly thing. Alright, well, looks like, can't be too surprised that, this happened. The train has activated, and we have been taken away. Now, if you open up the rear here, you will find that there is nowhere to go from here, and as you go through the train carts, everyone will start to detach, and you'll just see that. Now, if you want to be funny, you can walk off the edge there and kill yourself. Now, we actually have quite a bit of difficult-to-avoid combat coming up, and we're doing good on ammo and supplies, so we may as well fight here and equip the bulletproof vest to minimize the damage we take. There's a newspaper on the seat. Same old boring articles. Nothing to say here. Incidentally, another minor Jacob's Ladder reference. The subway, the actual subway train we're in, heavily reminiscent of the one that Jacob was in at the start of the movie. So yeah, this whole level is just extremely modeled after the movie. Okay, numbodies here, immediately start firing. That'll take this one out before it reaches you. And then to save on ammo, we want to equip the steel pipe here and start doing some melee combat. Now, something I did not mention with the handgun in this game, under most circumstances, it actually does not knock down enemies for stomps anymore. When an enemy falls over from being shot with the handgun, that means they are dead. In order to get enemies knocked over to stomp them, you gotta use something like the shotgun, or some melee weapons can do it, but just shooting enemies with the handgun, they will just fall over dead when they fall over. So yeah, fighting kills, a little bit different getting them in this game for 10 stars than it is in Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 1. Haven't gotten a chance to really mention that. Yes, there we go. Do 2 thrusts. Okay, do a third. And 4th? Yes, okay. Falls over dead there. Yes, okay. And then we can just do another set of thrusts here. There we go, took him out. Was probably running low on stamina there, but that was pretty good actually. I don't usually get through that without taking any damage. Let's take the handgun again. And again, it's mostly just because the timing on the attacks from the numbodies is really weird and inconsistent. Heading into this car, there's no more enemies, so we can just blow past this one. And when I say no more enemies, I mean in this car specifically. We're of course going to have more enemies to fight here. And we want to immediately start firing on this guy, and then start backing up. This is a large numbody. These guys can take upwards of 8 shots. I think I wasted a bullet there, which is actually kind of unfortunate, but not a huge deal. There still should be enough left over to get through the game. I'm saying that like missing a single bullet is a make or break thing. It really isn't. It's just ammo is super scarce in this game. You wanna... Okay. Whoa! There we go. And then just start going to town with the pipe. And got him. Alright, easy peasy, and we completely avoided damage. At this point, I want to unequip the bulletproof vest, because that's the last thing we want to kill on this train. And then let's keep on going. Now, there are actually a couple items that we want to grab as we proceed through the cars here. Heading into this car, something very important, another pickup for shotgun ammo. One of, I want to say there's less than 10 shotgun ammo pickups in the game. Ammo is very rare in this game. Speaking of rare ammo, something very easy to miss, immediately to your right when entering this car, 2 packs of handgun bullets. Very, very easy to miss if you just blow through this car. In fact, for the longest time, I did not know those were there. So that's pretty handy, though. Replaces all the ammo we've used. Got an insane cancer here, but we can just squeeze past him. They always have a bit of delay before they're actually able to do anything, so it's pretty easy to get around them. And this is actually the last car. Nothing in it for us, so let's just get to the end of this area. And we've reached our destination. Where exactly is that? God only knows. That old pattern's painted here among the graffiti. Looks like it was just put here, too. But by whom? Why does my head... So yeah, there's another one of those save points that gets us a unique little comment. Always keep checking those. You never know when you're gonna get some extra dialogue here. This game just has so much flavor text. I love it. I've always really liked flavor text in video games. I think it just adds a lot of character to the world. Anyway, heading into the next area... It'll actually be a while before we identify precisely where we are, but it looks like we're heading underground. Now, something to note about this hallway specifically that we're in, on repeat playthroughs, something kind of changes about it, which we'll be going over that once we check out Extra New Game. I did unequip the bulletproof, yeah. I don't know why, I felt like I was running slower than normal there. It feels like sometimes Heather runs faster or slower in certain areas. I'm not sure why it feels that way. Heading into this room is actually something I'd like to comment on. The alternative versions of pendulums. Sometimes you can find pendulums just walking around along the floor. Not anything too terribly interesting there, but they can actually jump up into the air and start flying. Now, heading into this area, we're going to have a bunch of numb bodies, but for the most part, we can just kind of avoid them. Let me see, there's a bunch in this hallway. Let me see, yes, just run right through, you can get right past them, no problem, no problem. Doing pretty good here. All the paths I didn't take, they just lead to dead ends. Unlike Silent Hill 2, this game has a lot of dead ends where there's just a whole lot of nothing and you'll have wasted your time and potentially your resources by going towards them. So I'm just going to stick to going the ways that we need to go. Alright, so we're in some kind of underpass. This seems to be some sort of underground treatment facility. Now here's something interesting. Got a mall. The side of the locker is badly bent as if something hit it very hard. As a result, it's impossible to open. Thank you, Detective Heather. And, of course, a first aid kit here. Now, let's actually take a look at that maul we got. That's our next melee weapon, and it's pretty bad. I'm never going to use this, so I'm just going to equip it right now to show what it looks like. It only has 2 attacks. It has a slightly faster side-to-side attack, and then a very slow, powerful overhead attack. The thing is, though, the maul is very slow and uses a lot of stamina, but it is actually not that much stronger than the next melee weapon we get, which is considerably faster. So I'm not a fan of this weapon at all. I've never found a good use for it. If you know any, let me know, but I'm more than likely never going to use this thing because it sucks. heading into this next leg of the underpass, we just want to go past all these guys, hopefully keep them off our tails for a little bit. Okay, so let me see here. Don't think I'm going to be able to get past this guy without shooting him. Okay, that was close. Oh, no! Whoa! Okay. Oh, man. I'm surprised he actually got through there. Sorry I went quiet for a bit. I was just... Oh, no, we're getting shown the business here. That's, I'm not used to getting cornered by that guy like that, so, that was interesting. Let me see. How are we doing on health? Yeah, we're fine, we're fine. Used quite a few more bullets than I would have liked there. Anyways, the room we want to head into before we go deeper into the underpass is right here. Bunch of stuff for us to grab in here. First order of business is some health drinks off to the side, plus some beef jerky. We're going to be needing this in the very near future. And only one of the bottles is empty. Got a wine bottle. This is required for a inventory puzzle later, so be sure to grab it. Now, going back out into this room right here, immediately hold right to strafe. Okay. It wasn't an issue, it looked like. Sometimes when you come out that door, there's going to be a couple enemies just camping the door waiting for you, so it's always a good idea to strafe to the right, because they're situated a little bit to the left of the door. But that's all we needed to do in there, so let's go deeper, deeper, and ever deeper into the underpass. Heading into this hall, once we get about halfway through it, gonna be some more pendulums waiting for us, but nothing too bad. As you can see, that one jumped up to start flying at us, but we just blew right past him. He wasn't anything. He is not something we need to concern ourselves with. Sometimes you can hear creepy little noises in this hall. Let me see if it activates. Yeah, there we go. I love the sound design in this game. It is immaculate. Silent Hill 2 also has its moments of ambient noise in the background, but not as frequently as this game, and I think they knocked it out of the park. It's just... Like, it's a wonderful game to play with headphones, you know, in the dark, so I highly recommend trying that out, especially if you're afraid. I'm kidding. I tease. We're all doing this just so you can experience it by proxy, right? And I'm doing this so I can have fun. Okay, so another large numb body. Going past where we just turned there just leads right to a dead end, so once again, don't bother going that way. The only reason you go that way is because there's another numb body towards the end of that hallway that you can take out for some shooting or fighting kills if you so desire. Incidentally, if you're on a 10-star run, with the shotgun, this is where you can start picking up some fighting kills, because you can just point-blank blast the numb bodies and they'll start squirming on the floor and you can kick them. No, it's not junk. Looks like somebody's stuff. Must be the office of some workers for this area. Must stay here pretty frequently and with long hours if they leave stuff behind at the office. Anyways, the reason we've come into here... There's some kerosene left in the heater, looks like. If I had some sort of container I could take with me. Now, what could we need kerosene for? Well, you'll see soon enough, but this is what we need the wine bottle for. We can just empty out the heater of the kerosene, and should we come across anything that needs kerosene as fuel, well, we have the option to fuel it now. But I think that's where we're going to end this video. We made some pretty good progress, made it through the subway, made it to halfway through the underground passage, so I think we can call it a video here. When we come back, we'll be finishing off the underground passage, and we will be seeing the next major area. What awaits us in there? Well, get pumped, because it's got some spooky things in it, and we also get some plot after a point. See you then. Until then, though, goodbye.